Just 5 days to go until the first all-British world heavyweight title fight in 17 years. On the special report tonight, one of the biggest names in boxing gives us his verdict on Haye versus Harrison. Welcome to the special report. As the countdown continues to the big fight this Saturday, who better to give his opinion than Mike Tyson? Our man Johnny Nelson spent an evening with the former undisputed heavyweight champion of the world ahead of the fight between the best of enemies.
I want to see it. I'm sure fight fans want to see it. You know what I mean? He's the heavyweight champ of the world. And regardless of what anybody say, that deserves merit. To be heavyweight champ, I don't care if you're English, I don't care if you're from China, I don't care if you're from Russia, I don't care where you're from. To win the heavyweight championship of the world deserves the respect of people involved with boxing. People just can't say, oh, he's bombing. But why didn't they win the championship? Or their fighter didn't win the championship? You know, that's just the reality. And I know it has a lot to do with who has who and who's managing who and who's doing this. But listen, man, that's boxing. David Haye's not a bad guy, you know what I mean? The fact that he's a cruiserweight, moved up, and he's fighting what I call Don King throwbacks, you know? And that's because he's most likely promoted by Don to be fighting these guys, you know? If he's going to fight guys, I always say, you know, and I like Dave. I want Dave to succeed. I want him to succeed.
Oh, he's got it going with a left hook. What a finish here. Haye gets to Balaev, who definitely did a silly dance there.
He has everything to be a popular champion if he wins 2 or 3 more, especially if he wins this fight real. If he knocks out Harrison, he has an opportunity to become, if he knocks him out in stunning fashion, he has the opportunity to be borderline star. You know what I mean? He has great looks. That's what's more amazing about the ability, because he has great looks. You know what I mean? He's young and he's vibrant. He could start a new revolution in the young people now in sports. You know what I mean? If he takes his time and fight the right guys, like, what's the Mexican? Christopher Oriola. Yeah. He should fight those guys. Fight the guys, Fast Eddie. Fight the guys that Klitschko for, and then let's compare the outcomes of the fights. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not in the training. I'm not going to tell. I can't tell him. He has his own timetable, but that's just what people want to see. You know, I'm a fan too, so we want to see that. We don't want to see him fight. Well, yeah, we do want to see him fight Hadley. I want to see that fight, but we want to see him fight Ariola too. We want to see him fight Fast Eddie. We want to see him fight. Maybe if Peterson, they say too big, don't fight people. Fight people even to the side that are fast and can move. And I think he'll do better than he anticipate if he fought those guys.
Where would you put him in the 90s if he was in the heavyweight scene in the 90s? No,
listen, you can't put him in the 90s. We could all see how this would go. All right, so listen, if we say he's in the 90s, all right, really, how do you think he'll do if he fought Evander Holyfield? How do you think in the cruiserweight championship? Forget the heavyweights, it's in the cruiserweight title. You know what I mean? How do you think he would do if he fought Carlos De Leon? We never know. We like to say, I like to say, man, we'll kill that guy. We like to say, man, we'd knock that guy. He would have been nothing. It appears that way. But we never know unless it truly happens. We never know what's going to happen that night.
Do you think in his decision to box Audley Harrison, instead of taking the fight against Vitaly or Vladimir Klitschko, do you think it's the right decision?
Yeah. Don't fight them right away. Get a couple more fights under your belt. You know what I mean? Perhaps he's not ready right this second. You know what I mean? You have to analyze your situation. You go, well, I'm not ready for him now. That don't mean that you're not going to fight him down the road. I have to prepare for him. You know, I wasn't ready to fight Larry Holmes in '86. You know, he was borderline over here, but I wasn't ready to fight him then. He was still active. He took 2 years off, and it still took me 4 rounds to knock him out. You know, so you really never know. I'm at the peak of my career. I think that was one of my greatest fights, too. He gave me a tough fight, too, believe it or not. It's very hard to hit him. His hands are so long, and it's just so awkward. It's really hard to hit him in the beginning.
What do you know about Audley Harrison, David's opponent?
I just know he's a very nice man. I met him in Miami before. I didn't know who he was. But he was a gentleman. He was a really guy. I knew he was a nice guy. You can tell. I know Haye's not a bad guy. He can't be amongst him. I know the other guy's a nice guy, very nice man.
A beautiful shot, though, from Harrison. Walked right into that, Belshaw. Wonderfully timed. And there it goes, down in the second round. Audley Harrison is the prize fighter champion.
On paper, you'd probably think Audley Harrison should do it. He's got the size, he's got the reach, he's got the amateur pedigree, but he's just not being able to put it all into practice when asked of it.
Listen, this is funny. I was watching when you guys were discussing about the two fighters, And it was interesting that one guy said something to me that sent the flag up. These guys know each other. They're very familiar with each other. Harrison's not going to be intimidated of him. They're very familiar with each other. You know what I mean? And that might have an advantage for him. That he's bigger, stronger, and he's familiar with them. That has sometimes you can see a guy, listen, right? You see one guy, I might fight Alex Stewart, blitz him a minute. Holyfield fights him is tooth and nail. I fight Holyfield beats me. Holyfield fights him again, it goes a decision. It's just tough fights with him, but this guy, I could beat him in 1 second. I could beat him in 1 minute 10 times out of 10. I could beat him in 1 minute. You know what I mean? But him and Holyfield, I have a war, and Holyfield is he'll give Holyfield hell, but me and Holyfield give me murder. You know what I mean? It's just styles, and he wasn't afraid. He had no psychological, emotional disillusion about Holyfield. He wasn't afraid. He had nothing about Holyfield intimidated him. You know, that's just the whole how you feel about your opponent. I believe Audrey Harrison feels that way about him.
And that's because they're familiar with each other. They know each other.
Yeah, the familiarity breeds contempt. Once you get to know a guy and stuff, and I'm sure they were good friends until he won the title. He said, wow, I could win him, I could beat him. All of a sudden his mind starts changing differently. Maybe he had some doubts about himself. Now he said, wow, all his confidence, all the success he had from an amateur and all that stuff comes to play right now because now he has belief in himself.
Who would your money go on?
On this 2 fights? Yeah. Man, see, I haven't seen Harley fight in a long time. Anybody on a good night that prepared, he would maybe had a different psychological opinion about Hardison than he had about the other guy, the Irish guy that he lost to in the championship. So it's all about psychological warfare as well, how you feel emotionally about that fighter.
In America, is there much interest in this fight in America?
Listen, there's not much interest in boxing in America.
Why is that, though?
That's because it's not exciting in the heavyweight division. The heavyweight division rules boxing. So you got Manny Pacquiao and these lighter guys that are starting to make an impact, but they're not going to make the same impact because people want to see big people hurt each other. I just don't know why, but that's just been, people want to see the big, and they don't even fight as well, and they're not as exciting as the younger lighter weight divisions, but people want to see big people hit each other, big, strong people hit each other.
Do you see any potential heavyweight American champions coming through?
I haven't seen anybody in fight. You know, no one that you hear about. You know, I'm a fight fan. I'm into boxing, but I'm basically with the average, you know, middle class people, and we haven't heard nobody coming through the pipes lately. No.
Look at the heavyweight scene today. You got the Klitschko's that are dominating the Tatars, the Eastern Europeans. You no longer seem to have the Americans that used to. It was a foregone conclusion you'd have an American heavyweight champion. Why?
Listen, it was so funny. It's just the reality that the Eastern Europeans always ruled boxing since the beginning of boxing. It's just repeating itself. That's just really the truth. The Eastern European Jews are the first guys that started teaching people how to fight. You know what I mean? Really how to fight, not just boom, slug, the art of boxing, moving, being elusive, and that kind of stuff. You know, Marcy had all those guys had European Jewish trainers and stuff. You know what I mean? Because those guys studied the art of boxing. These guys have been warriors for 2,500 years. They've been warriors. You know what I mean? So they, you know, it sounds weird, but they knew the art of boxing back then. So those guys were the teachers of boxing in the 1890s and stuff like that. Because there were no teachers back then. People learned from fighting, and then people started the Eastern European Jewish people started teaching like in the 1890s, the 1900s on. Then they were the trainers of the boxing world.
Are you still as much of a student as what you used to be?
No, but I know a little bit.
Would you be interested in training fights to bring them through?
I don't know if I'm prepared for that. Cause that's just because I was a fighter and champion. That takes another special talent.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A lot of fighters think because they were champion, they can train champions.
You know what I mean? Like with Cuts, for instance. Now, if I train a kid, I'm gonna have to train a guy like the way I was trained. So I don't know if these kids, nowadays you can't push kids too much. Society protects human beings now more than they did in the late 70s and the 80s. You know, if you boxing in the gym, and I'm boxing in the gym because you tired, you want to get out the ring, no, you can't get out. You have to get out when he tells you to get out. Nowadays, guys get out the ring when they tired. When they want to get out, they're tired. So I don't want to train no more. So back then, we were on like basic mentor what you say, what we do kind of basis. You know what I mean? He totally owns me, and I totally listen to everything he says without any kind of, implicitly, without any kind of doubt or hesitation. Attack him, boom.
But why do you think attitudes have changed now than then?
Because people have to respect and honor one another. In order for me to become and accomplish the goals that I want and Cus put before me, I had to regard myself greater than what I actually was. If I actually tried to become champion, just being Mike Tyson, just being this guy that just has good skills and strong and fast, and not thinking and regarding myself greater than what I really truly am, I would have never succeeded. I would have been intimidated of the bigger guys. I would have been hit with their jab. They would have hit me with the basic stuff. But I refused. I thought I was a god and no one could dare beat me. We were so serious. We thought we were important. We thought we were, and then when you get older, you realize, wow, I was a smug. How did I think I was this guy all of a sudden? When you get older, you realize reality sets in, and reality sets in that you have to do what everybody else do. You have to pay tax. You have to struggle. You love. You cry, and we have to continue to move on with our lives. Even if our career didn't even go that well, we're still human beings. We're just an athlete for a certain duration of time, and we still have to be a human. So we always have to develop on evolving as human beings to the best of our ability from a humanity perspective.
When you look back on your career,
I don't look back on it.
If you do, everybody has the highest bit, the thing that makes them smile. What's the thing that the highest point of your career that makes you smile?
Oh man, I don't know. Maybe unifying the championship. Unifying the championship. That was interesting because I don't know. All my life, I was since 12 years old. I was 12 and a half, 13 since I met, because I was just primed to be just wrecking people, hurting people, fighting and conquering people, and having titles and just getting a whole bunch of accomplishments. I was just totally accomplishment orientated because I wanted people to like me, because I came from Brownsville, Brooklyn, like the poorest neighborhood in America, and I just wanted people to I don't know, I just wanted people to like me and respect me and think I was special because I didn't have such a good opinion about myself.
When people talk about Mike Tyson, the peak of his career, they talk about the Spinks fight. Everybody's opinion is different to say that the best.
I don't think that was my best fight.
So I was going to ask you, which one do you think was?
I don't know. I think Buster Douglas and Ray the Ruddock was my best fights.
Why?
I don't know, because I had to endure I had to endure punishment. I think you could tell a man what a man's made out by how much pain he can take.
Looking at your career and look at what you achieved in history, you're down in history books, and you come over here and you always get a great reception. People appreciate what you've done and everything. Now there's the argument about the Boxing Hall of Fame. How much does it bother you not being in there yet?
I don't know. Hey, I did all I can do at that particular time, and if they don't believe that I deserve to be in the Boxing Hall of Fame, then I don't. That's their opinion. But I'm just happy to know that guys like Muhammad Ali, Rocky Graciano, Jake LaMotta, and Joey Giardello, Ike Williams, Bojack. These guys, know what's so interesting, Ray Roberts? These guys know my name. These are guys I worshipped. These were my gods. Wasn't no Jesus, wasn't no Prophet Muhammad, wasn't no Buddha. These guys were my God. And they know my name. I'm cool.
And don't forget, you can see the big fight itself, the best of enemies, David Haye against Audley Harrison for the WBA World Heavyweight title from 8 o'clock on Saturday on Sky Box Office HD and on Sky 3D. For more information, call 08442 410 888, 08442 410 888, and you can also book it using your handset on Sky Box Office HD, channel 752, and on Sky Box Office, channel 743. Plus, it will be available as a Sky Box Office event in 3D on channel 217.